All right, good morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fall 1 Data Population Live Training with CSIS supporting CalPADS. My name is Adriana Quick. I am a field support specialist here at CSIS, and I'll be one of your presenters today. Also joining us today is Nathaniel Holmes, who will be leading a live demonstration during the second half of this training. And also supporting us behind the scenes are my colleagues, Kyron Pagulayan, Slyman Ahmed, and Marshall Isbell. So the focus of this training is to provide guidance for the data submission needed to complete Fall 1. We'll discuss student profile types and online maintenance during this training and resolution of validation errors. We'll provide a demonstration of the online maintenance process in the second half of this training today. So this training should be attended by users new to CalPADS and by CalPADS data coordinators. Experienced users may attend as well and treat the session as a refresher. If you're new to CalPADS, we strongly recommend that you also attend the Fall 1 reporting and certification training to gain an understanding of Fall 1 certification reports and certification process. So the CSIS training model is designed to be segmented to provide organization of specific topics and concise delivery. We aim to provide focused trainings with relevant information and instruction. On the left, we have the CalPADS introduction and basics as the data population sections, which are submission specific in fall and file specific at the end of year. These sessions are the prerequisite for the remaining reporting and certification and advanced courses. We are currently designing skill building courses, which will develop targeted CalPADS competencies and skills. So these are our objectives for today's session. By the end of the session, participants should be able to identify the different file types expected to be reported in Fall 1, determine which SIS fields map to CalPADS field specifications, perform the submission process through online maintenance and batch upload, and resolve submission errors and reporting roadblocks through scenario discussion. So in today's session, we will be covering an overview of the Fall 1 data population and provide key details on the student profile record submission. We will then provide demonstration of the data population and submission in online maintenance. And we'll conclude with a summary of key takeaways, provide a preview of upcoming training opportunities, and share support resources to help you continue building your CalPADS knowledge. So we'll go ahead and let's begin with an overview of the Fall 1 submission. Here we'll provide general and background information related to the student profile and Fall 1 data population, and introducing key concepts related to the data submission. All right, so CalPADS operates much like a student information system. Once a student enrolls into the LEA, whether it be a district or a school, the student records must be maintained. Student information systems are designed to meet school needs, while CalPADS has been designed to meet state and federal reporting requirements. To meet state and federal reporting requirements while protecting student privacy, every student must be assigned a statewide student identifier, also referred to as SSID. The SSID is a unique number that links all student data in CalPADS. Once assigned, the student's enrollment and related records can be submitted and tracked. This process is known as SSID enrollment and is initiated through the SCNR file. SSID enrollment is the foundation of all CalPADS reporting. It ensures that student data is accurately connected and securely maintained. So above the SIS is the Special Education Data System, or the SEDS. It stores information on special education meetings, plans, and services. Data is sent directly to CalPADS via an API, an application programming interface, and no manual submission is needed. However, CalPADS coordinators must resolve any validation errors that result from these submissions. So once the data is submitted to CalPADS, it goes through two levels of validations. Input validation rules, or IVRs. When dealing with the fatal IVRs, these block submissions and errors must be fixed, and the file needs to be resubmitted. warning IVRs. This allows submissions, but it flags potential issues that should be reviewed for data quality. Certification validation rules, CVRs, and certified data discrepancies, CDDs, these checks occur after data is accepted and focus on completeness and accuracy. So all CVRs and CDDs must be resolved before reports can be reviewed and the data is certified. While the data is housed in CalPADS, it is also shared with other systems to support statewide reporting services. For example, TOMS, the Testing Operation Management System, receives data for student assessment purposes. And another example is the California Department of Social Services database for direct certification of foster youth. So the Fall 1 submission consists of 8 key file types that together form the student profile in CalPADS. The SCNR file is a starting point, and it is shown as a centerpiece of the student profile on this slide. The SCNR file establishes LEA ownership of the student in CalPADS. So once the SCNR is submitted, an ownership is confirmed. You can then proceed with submitting the remaining files required for Fall 1. So the next files are the student information file, or SINF, student English language acquisition status file, or the SELA file, and student program records file, or SPRG. All of these files, including the SCNR, are extracted from your local SIS and submitted to CalPADS either via batch file upload or online maintenance. And the remaining 4 files relate to the students with disabilities. The MEET file, the status file, and the plan file, and the services file are transferred directly into CalPADS via a nightly API transfer from the special education data system. So this file is an important part of the data collection in CalPADS. Collaboration is key to a successful Fall 1 submission, and not only just for Fall 1, but across all CalPADS submissions throughout the academic year. The Fall 1 submission draws from multiple data sources, which means several departments play a critical role in ensuring its accuracy and completeness. Based on the file types and information they contain, the following steps are typically involved. So registrars and counselors and principals for enrollment and demographic data, English learner services staff for language acquisition records, NSLP program staff for program participation data, special education staff, or SELPA directors for students with disabilities data submitted via the API. So again, forming a collaborative team is not just helpful, it's a key indicator of success in managing CalPADS submission. So open communication and shared responsibilities lead to a smoother reporting cycle and accurate data. So now let's talk about the importance of ongoing data maintenance in CalPADS. So student data is constantly changing, whether it's enrollment status, demographics, or program eligibility. That's why it's essential to keep CalPADS updated on a regular basis and not just during the snapshot window. Maintaining current data in CalPADS provides several key benefits. It simplifies SSID selection for students transferring between schools and districts. It ensures accurate placement of a student into appropriate programs by giving LEAs access to up-to-date information. It reduces the workload during critical snapshot collection periods by minimizing last-minute data corrections. Supports accurate state reporting for assessments and accountability and state-level data matching. In addition to ongoing maintenance, improves decision-making by ensuring the real-time data is accurate and readily available when needed. So before going any further, we want LEAs to be aware that there are excellent reference documents available to download for guidance on different aspects of CalPADS reporting. So the 4 resources shown on this slide are helpful for Fall 1. So Nate will give you a mini tour of these resources. Go ahead, Nate, take it away.
Thank you, Adriana. You should all start with using the CalPADS user manual as your first point of reference. It's the most extensive and most frequently updated reference. We have it before you. It's good to bookmark this page, but you can always just Google CalPADS user manual. So, with the start of the Fall 1 submission, you would expect to see Fall 1 roadmap available to you. At the time of this recording, it is not available, so we'll just look at other features in the user manual. If you need to know anything about the navigation or functionality of CalPADS, you can go to Online Maintenance or Upload View Submission. Under Online Maintenance, you have Student Data Maintenance, Staff Data Maintenance, so on and so forth. This mirrors CalPADS on the left-hand menu. So these paths of navigation, again, they mirror what you would find in CalPADS. If you go to Student Information Details, you will find description of the purpose of that record type or file type, the roles that you need, a sequence of steps numbered. You have callouts telling you the different features, and you have a screenshot of what it looks like. So if you're in CalPADS and you have the split screen or double monitors, you can track your path of navigation and use your reference from the user manual screen by screen. Another key feature of the CalPADS user manual is the batch file templates. Every record type can be submitted via batch file. That's an Excel spreadsheet that's formatted to go into CalPADS. So if you should ever need to make changes that you can't manage through your student information system, the batch file templates are a good workaround. They also show you the file structure so you know how to implement or submit a new file. And then one of the most important things is the troubleshooting. The troubleshooting guide has direct access to the Excel error list, but they also have each error in CalPADS. Let's go to Fall 1 errors. Each error in CalPADS is described, and some have videos. F1. All right, so here's an example of error in the troubleshooting guide. You can see the number of the error and the name. Remember, this is just the name. The details are down below. You have the fields validated, suggested resolution, and tell you how to resolve the error. So the user manual has a lot of different features. Again, this is your number one resource. It's too much to show in this demo, but please become familiar with the CalPADS user manual. Second to the user manual, and I mean second to the user manual, are all the other CalPADS documentations. That's how valuable the user manual is. But if you go to CalPADS system documentation as part of the CDE's web portal, you have access to all the other documents. They're classified or categorized as the CalPADS file specifications. This is a collection of documents that provides information about CalPADS, all the codes in CalPADS, the different file specifications. Um, the error list used to be here. Now it's exclusively in the user manual. The extract specifications are here. So as you can see, it says CalPADS file specifications. These are great, great documents. However, you have to take your time, become familiar with them, and learn how to use them. The CalPADS file specifications forms is an Excel spreadsheet. Each record type is described field by field. It tells you the requirements and what's expected. So some of the errors will call out, uh, you know, invalid data. To find out whether that data is valid, you would have to understand what's expected. That you can find that in the file specifications or its companion document, the valid code combinations document. So these are documents that you want to reference, become familiar with. A lot of times the error will tell you to reference these documents. So this is where they are located. Lastly, I want to point to the CalPADS data guide. It's a great document, although you can see it's severely outdated. But there's a lot of data in CalPAD that hasn't changed. The business rules, the programmatic information that you want that gives you the background and the reason why we're doing what we're doing is in the data guide. So I would download this document, have it handy, and again, it's organized to match CalPAD's flow of submission. So student data is grouped together. It starts with enrollment, information, program, so on and so forth. There's information about special student populations. It's a valuable document, albeit a little bit outdated. And then we have the LCFF FAQs. You can reach this through the FAQs on the system documents page. Um, but it's maybe not intuitive that this is a frequently used resource. But for Fall 1, it definitely is. So much is driven from the free and reduced price meal program. Those students that are income eligible, uh, this document is very informative. There's a lot of information on this webpage. So this is something that you need to become familiar with. It's a heads up. You will see us in training reference it. If you have a question, join the Q&A. We reference the LCFF FAQs all the time. And then last but not least, I want to go to the CSIS YouTube training channel. All right, so this is a library of videos. It's quite extensive. Um, on the home screen, you can see that we have the weekly updates. These are most frequently updated videos. There's one every week. And then you have a collection of CDE videos, the basics. Right now we're doing end of year, so that's what's prominent. During fall one will be prominent. So the path of navigation may be a little different. But here you can see there's fall one. What? Here you can see there's fall one data population. So everything that we're covering now is condensed and shortened. If you want an hour-long video on every file type that goes through the weeds into every detail, fall one data population self-paced trainings is for you. And then the fall one reporting certification trainings are available as well. So we try to organize the content to match the submission and the prerequisites for the submission. If you go to videos, the most frequently uploaded video will be here. Often it's going to be a collection of Q&As, but if there's new functionality, again, the most recent video will be up there. So you can see 3 months ago, we described the user authentication system. And then during the training cycle, you'll see a lot of reporting certification training videos. But in here, that goes along with the user manual is the troubleshooting guide. So we have certification errors and validation errors. And so here is an example of a frequently triggering error in CalPADS Fall 1, the SCNR 0606. Every video starts out with a procedure of how to resolve any error. It's just systematic steps that will help you dissect and identify the problem, and we offer resolution. As you become more familiar with the process, you might want to go straight to the demonstration. So Marshall takes the time to bookmark every part in the error. If you want just the demonstration, you can go there. And so we'll demonstrate, we'll break down and go through the errors. Some of these videos are recorded during live training, so you'll hear my voice, Kyron's voice, or any of the other trainers. So it's a great tool. The CSIS YouTube training channel library is expanding weekly, so it's another great reference for you all. And those are the references that I think are most valuable for Fall 1, especially for a new user.